Welcome to Module 10 on writing expressions and equations. Right now, pause the video, find a writing utensil and a piece of paper. A spiral-bound notebook is perfect for what you'll need for this course. If you need help getting a notebook, let your teacher know today. Don't forget that it's important to take notes so that you have access to what you're learning without having to re-watch all the videos. That's going to save you lots of time, and you can use your notes on the quizzes. So for Module 10, we're going to work on writing expressions and equations. So you need a new page in your notebook called Module 10, Writing Expressions and Equations. And you don't need to write all these down, just so you know what we're doing today. We're going to be writing one-step equations, one-step expressions, two-step equations, and two-step expressions. So instead of having a bunch of notes today, we're going to have a list of code words. So I want you to write a new topic, writing a one-step expression. And then over to the side of your paper, I want you to start making a list of code words. And we're going to add to this as we go today so that you know what these code words mean. So for this one, it says the sum of. Well, if you don't know that, then you're going to want to write down that sum means to add. So if it asks me to find the sum of 6 and C, I'm going to add 6 and C. There is no equal sign because it doesn't say is or is equal to or total. We just stop there. This is just an expression. For this one, C times 3, times, if you don't know, means to multiply. So add that to your list of code words if you don't have that already. And you can either write this as C times 3, but if you've been doing this long enough, you know that usually this will be written as 3C. But either one is correct there. For one like this, quotient, again, if you want to add this to your list of code words, quotient means to divide. So you might want to write yourself a note that quotient means to divide. So if we're going to divide the quotient of W and 7, you can write it as W over 7, or you can write it as W divided by 7. I didn't intend to give you the answer on this one written out, so don't be confused by that. For this one, difference, you might want to write this down. Difference means to subtract. So if I'm finding the difference of two numbers, I want to put the first one first and subtract the second one. The difference of W and 2 is W minus 2. Now let's try to break into some actual useful word problems. Kiko has a bookcase with 4 shelves. So we've got one bookcase with 4 shelves. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are N books on each shelf. So they're in here, in here, in here, and in here. Using N, write an expression for the total number of books. Well, I see each. Each is usually going to mean that we're multiplying, and it does in this case. So Kiko has a bookcase with 4 shelves. There are N books on each shelf, so we can write this as 4 times N, or we can just write it as 4N. If we knew what the total number of books was, that total would be telling us to make it equal to something, but we don't, so we just stop with the expression. You pause the video and try this one on your own. All right, it says a sports tournament has 14 teams. Each team has N players. Using N, write an expression for the total number of players in the tournament. Again, each usually means multiply. There's 14 teams. Each team has N players. So you can write this as 14 times N or 14N. All right, 51 decreased by twice. So we've got 2 things we want to add to our code words. So decreased by, you want to add this to your list of code words. Decreased by means to subtract. And twice means 2 times something. So 2 times X or 2 times N or whatever. So if it's starting with 51, it's 51. Decreased by means minus. Twice means 2 times, and it says use the variable G to represent Gail's savings. So 51 decreased by twice Gail's savings. For this one, less than, it doesn't say is less than. If it said is less than, then I would use the inequality sign. But it doesn't, it just says less than. So in this case, less than means minus. And then I see the word product. That means to multiply. So it says 6 less than. This is the one that's tricky. If I have $10 and you have 6 less than me, you would not do 6 take away 10. You would do 10 minus 6. So 6 less than means some stuff minus 6. Well, let's see what the stuff is. The product of 23 and Vanessa's savings. The product means to multiply, so it should be 23v minus 6, or something that looks like this. 5 more than the product of 24 and Jenny's savings. Well, more than means to add, and product means to multiply. So if it's 5 more than, it's 5 plus the product of 24 and Jenny's savings, or you could just write it as 24j, like that. You pause the video and try this one on your own. You've got all the code words you need written down if you've been following along. All right, more than should have meant to add. Twice means 2 times, so it's 21 plus 2 times j. Less than, remember that means if I want to do 10 less than, that means I want to do some stuff minus 10. So some stuff minus 10, 10 less than Malik's height. And then this is our first time doing an equation. We want to see the word is. Is means equals. So is 42. You pause the video and try this one on your own. There's no new code words here. We've got all these written down. Is means equals. So 52 is equal to the product of, product means multiply, Rick's height, which is R, and 4. So you also could have written this as 52 equals 4R. For this one, more than means to add, product means to multiply, equals means equals. So 8 more than means 8 plus. Product of means to multiply, but what are we going to multiply? The product of a number and 6. So it should be like this, and then equals 3. To clean this up, most people would write this as 8 plus 6x equals 3. You pause the video and try this one on your own. Don't forget that the quotient means to divide. All right, you should have recognized that more than means to add, equals means to equals. So if we're doing 6 more than, we're doing 6 plus, and then the quotient of something. I like to use my fraction bar for a quotient in an equation. The quotient of a number and 2, and then is equal to 4. You also could have written it like this. That's not wrong, but you usually won't see equations written using division this way. You'll usually see it written like this. All right, I don't see any new code words here. 5 times mean to multiply, sum means to add, is equal to means equals. So 5 times the sum of, that means I'm adding 2 things, the sum of a number and 8. Well, if I want to multiply 5 times the sum of a number and 8, I want to put the number and 8 in parentheses and then make it equal to 2. You pause the video and try this one on your own. All right, 7 more than should have been 7 plus. The quotient of 2 things, the quotient of a number and 3 is equal to 5. If I were you, I might write this one down. Anytime you have to do 5 times the sum or difference of something, that sum or difference of something needs to go into parentheses to show that those are the 2 things you're adding together. And you're done. This will be available on Haiku if you need to rewatch, and will be available on each skill for Module 10. You now need to complete Module 10 practice problems by selecting Continue My Path. Don't forget, if you have not worked your way up to Module 10, you will need to work your way through Modules 1 through 9 before you get to Module 10. If you need help while you're in Alex, don't forget to hit the explanation button. When you're done with both your practice problems and you don't have any questions and you've taken your notes, you're ready to go to the circle with 3 lines and assignments and find quiz 10. Have a great rest of your day.